Hello everyone. I usually don't make videos outside of my schedule, but today I decided to do it anyway, in order to talk about a topic that has been pissing me off for the last 6 years. A lot of my viewers who have seen a little bit of my content were probably disappointed by the lack of quality in my last video, and rightly so. I myself consider my own creation to be complete garbage, and what's even worse, I will use the typical gamer excuse and blame my own failure on someone else. But more on that later. When the new ranked season started in late December just before Christmas, it was pretty obvious that I would be making a video about the mode. After all, I had more than 2 weeks to collect enough footage. I didn't get to play an awful lot of ranked games though, which is why my experience in ranked so far is limited to being team killed by brain-dead destroyers at rank 20. Let's just say that the players in ranked are less competent than the players you tend to meet in random games. This turned out to be slightly displeasing in the long run. The fact that I'm playing almost exclusively cruisers doesn't provide me with a lot of fun either, as cruisers, even those with radar, can have an extremely hard time actually having an impact on the match. So I decided to play battleships, as I have an Amaji at tier 8, but unfortunately my BBAPRNG isn't much better than my Firechance and the Ibuki. Go watch that video. My only tier 8 destroyer, even though it's not actually a destroyer, is the Kiev, which provided me with a nice 155k damage defeat. This could, and in all honesty should, have been a free win, which was thrown away by a single idiot who decided that closing the range in a Bismarck against a low health Northcol is a bad idea. What is the Bismarck captain even doing? He probably left at the start of the game in order to eat a sandwich and gave the controls to his 12-year-old sister. But frankly, even his little sister should know that she should be moving into the A cap, right? Come on, please do it.
じゃあ、あそこで売ってるドーナツ買ってくれるならいいよ。
I'm not gonna lie, ranked so far has been filled with annoying wallet warriors as teammates at best, and glue-eating toddlers at worst. What pisses me off the most about ranked compared to random games is that you are constantly fighting your own team just as much as the enemy team. Once it looks like you are about to lose, everybody tries to kill steal ships in order to get more XP than the rest of the team. It's getting annoying. The only good thing from this ranked season is that I learned a new trick to dodge torps. It's very easy. Whenever you are about to get hit by a torp, just stop your ship, wait for the torp to pass, and once you are not in danger of getting hit anymore, just keep going. While this might sound like it could require a time machine, it is actually really easy, and you can do it whenever you are in a bad position and about to run into enemy torps. In order to bring the ship to a complete standstill, you only have to disconnect your computer from the internet, which is really simple. In my case though, it's even easier than that. Because in order to disconnect my computer from the internet I had to do exactly, you guessed it, nothing. That's right. Thanks to my awesome internet connection I couldn't play the game at all for an entire month. In order to actually start collecting footage for new videos I tried to download replays from my clan. After failing miserably at that, I used my mobile phone, which worked in order to download replays for about 3 minutes. Throw a patch in there, or maybe even 2 if you feel like it, and you have the reason why I made this video. My internet connection has always been a bit lackluster, with a maximum download speed of just over 500 kilobytes per second and a ping in the lower 200s. This changed when we moved in June. Vodafone provided us with an excellent download speed of 5 megabytes per second. This came, however, at the horrible price of instability. Every 2 to 3 hours, the connection would crash and take about 20 minutes to reboot. This, by the way, is the reason why our clan lost its first struggle for the Typhoon League. I was simply kicked out of the game at a crucial point of the match, and my team fought a 6 vs 7. While trying to rely on the 7th member of the team, I had disconnected without anyone realizing at first, which led to our inevitable defeat. At some point I got pissed off and decided to go on a journey to find the perfect internet connection by using my laptop while traveling to various friends in the area. This worked for about half a year. Upon returning home I discovered that something must have happened. While I was gone, the download speed had dropped to 0. Whale vs Vodafone, Chapter 2, the day that changed nothing. After spending a few hours in a queue, we were allowed to talk to a young woman from Vodafone who kindly explained to us that she had no fucking clue what caused this issue. Fast forward 1 week and we discovered that the problem might have been caused by the cables inside and leading to our apartment. The guy who we called to repair it never actually came, of course, and we had to wait another week or so. He did come though, and he fixed it. What surprised me the most is that the internet connection actually worked for much longer than expected. After hearing that the cable was repaired, I immediately called my friends and told them that I would be able to play with them for a few days until it stopped working again. I was wrong. It kept on working for about a week. While making the script for this very video, I actually started to think that ranting about my ISP might not be that justified, as they did find a way to fix the issue after all. So I started ranting about idiots in Ranked and other stuff, because ranting about Vodafone wouldn't make any sense as the cable had been repaired and they had done everything right. Well, as it turns out, they didn't. And as I just had to spend more than 12 hours without internet, this script just got a whole lot longer. Now I feel like I have ranted enough about Vodafone though, and should start finishing and uploading the video while my internet connection is actually working. But first I'd like to talk about the last point in this video, the one that has been pissing me off for years. Yes, being forced to play BTD5 exclusively for 2 weeks because of my internet connection isn't the only thing that has been pissing me off. The two issues are closely related to each other though. It's fairness. Particularly fairness in video games, where people compete against each other. I like to compete with others because it's a challenge and I want to test my skill against a worthy opponent rather than having to play against a computer. But I often feel like these games are unfun simply because they are unfair, and I think that this should never happen. It's not the point of a game where all players are created and treated equal, am I right? Playing normal chess would be really difficult if you were only allowed to start with half the number of chess pieces, while your opponent has the normal number of chess pieces. Playing football with a team that has less players than the opposing team can be really frustrating. Playing badminton outside really sucks when the wind is blowing directly in your face, as your opponent needs less power to make the ball go faster. Badminton sucks even more when the sun is shining in your face, as it's a disadvantage that you have to deal with, but your opponent doesn't. These examples are not an issue if you are simply giving your opponent a handicap because your opponent happens to be your little sister who happens to suck at chess, badminton, or football. However, if both parties are at a similar level, this is not the case. Being at the receiving end in one of these examples makes the game less fun to play for you. If we are playing to test our skill in a challenge against an opponent with similar strength, then it also makes the game less fun for your opponent. After all, he has an unfair advantage and is going to win, even if he puts less effort into winning than you do. That's why I hate games that give an advantage or disadvantage to one of the players over the others. Examples of unfair things can be divided into groups, the ones that can be avoided easily, and the ones that can't. All of the examples I mentioned earlier belong into group 1. Just play with the same number of chess pieces, switch the sides of the badminton field every few minutes, and make football teams which are equal in size. Playing arm wrestling against your 12-year-old sister, on the other hand, will put your sister at a disadvantage that can hardly be fixed in a matter of seconds. So, why did I spend so much time talking about something so trivial? Because a lot of what I just said can also be applied to video games, of course. I think talking about this topic is pretty important as video games are starting to become more competitive while attracting a larger audience. The World Championships for games like League of Legends, Dota 2 and such can almost be compared to foot, volley or basketball championships. Hackers are being banned like athletes who resorted to doping to produce better results, all in order to have a fair competition and see who is the best. This is the reason why game developers make sure to bring out a game that is well balanced, as this is something that can be easily done. Hardware problems or a crappy internet connection, on the other hand, are issues that can't be fixed easily. No mobile phone player will ever be able to be a better Geometry Dash player than Riot or Sunix. They use monitors with a 144Hz refresh rate in order to be more competitive at the game, which is all about reflexes and timing. Players who use monitors with a lot of delay are heavily punished when attempting difficult levels, and there is not a lot that the game developer can do about it. People like me who used to suffer, or are still suffering from a ping being higher than average, have less of a chance at being better than someone with comparable skill when playing a fast online game. And there is nothing that the game developer can do about it. There are some problems where the game developer could do something about it though. And these are the reasons why World of Tanks and World of Warships tournaments, for example, will never become the next League of Legends World Championship. You might expect me to rant about RNG now, but that's not the case, as the random number generator actually has positive sides and can create funny situations, which is proven by the RNG series on YouTube. Having a lot of RNG in your game can be frustrating, but it can also feel great. Everyone knows the feeling of getting a devastating strike on an enemy ship 18 kilometers away, destroying an ammo rack, or managing to sink an enemy destroyer with a BBAP pen or a detonation. That feeling is called pure satisfaction. Being on the receiving end of this can be a real pain though, and that's why I'm not a big fan of the rather large amount of randomness in the wargaming titles. When compared to games by other studios like Smite by Hi-Rez, World of Tanks and World of Warships have a lot of RNG in them, and in my opinion it's a bit too much. But I don't feel like the topic of the random number generator is problematic enough to talk about it in great length here. Frankly, a game which is all about being lucky can't be taken too serious. Nobody enjoys watching someone stream a session of Slot Machine live on Twitch. Wargaming's titles have other issues that disqualify them, issues that damage the community of the game severely. I'm talking about pay-to-win aspects. All the big wargaming titles are free-to-play games. They make money by selling premium accounts and other economical bonuses, like flags. Some flags give you an advantage in the game, but they can all be obtained very easily by just playing the game. This kind of pay to speed up your progress in the game is fine in these grind-heavy games. The studio that developed the game needs some money after all. The same can be said about ornamental items like skins that don't give you an advantage over other players, they just look cool. Wargaming's camouflages bring some advantages though. Better stealth in tanks and warships, as well as a debuff to enemy accuracy in warships. However, the premium camo bonuses in warships can be obtained by paying 22,500 credits after every match, which is not that much. The bonuses in World of Tanks are also available to free-to-play players, absolutely no problem. Way number 2 of making money. Special ammunition in World of Tanks is more controversial. Depending on the shell type used by the gun, it can, but doesn't have to, be superior to the regular ammunition. Penetration, performance at longer or shorter range, as well as shell speed and performance against angled or spaced armor are factors that change with different types of shell. This forces the player to think about what shell to use and adds more depth to the game. That's good. All ammunition types are available for normal credits. That's also good. Premium ammunition in the form of APCR or heat compared to normal AP, or special HE or HESH compared to normal HE, are way more expensive to their cheaper counterparts and can't be afforded easily by free-to-play players. That's not that good. But having to deal with limited amounts of ammo by thinking about when to shoot which type of ammo can be fun. But premium ammo has also hardly any downsides to normal ammunition and produces better results in 99% of all situations. Players who have enough money can easily buy unlimited amounts of premium ammo, while free-to-play players are put at a disadvantage. That's pay to win. Way number 3 of making money. Vehicles that are exclusive to paying users. No problem. Yes, really. You were probably expecting me to complain about some popular ships like the Tirpitz being behind a €40 paywall, but that's not going to happen. I consider the additional levels that you get access to when you buy the full version of Angry Birds or Geometry Dash to be some sort of DLC. In order to experience a new type of gamma play like the laser cannon in Just Cause 3, the developer wants you to empty your wallet. Legitimate claim, to be honest. I have no problem with the torpedo battleship Tirpitz, the massive KV-5, the anti-airships Atlanta and Newbury, or the iconic TOG-2 and other fun and unique vehicles sitting behind a paywall. The problems start arising when these vehicles aren't balanced properly and paying players compete against free-to-play players. Playing an aircraft carrier and having to decide between attacking a New York or a Texas makes you sad, because the free-to-play New York will always get focused, as the premium Texas has the way superior anti-air armament, and attacking the premium ship as an aircraft carrier is punished with severe damage to the planes. There is no problem with the Texas having better anti-air guns as the New York, if the New York has other things that make it viable, of course. A good example of this is the Japanese Tier 8 battleship Key. Despite of the Key's power against planes, the Tech Tree counterpart Amagi is generally considered to be the better ship because of its superior armor, but until the arrival of the British HMS Orion at Tier 4, the Russian premium ship, the Nikolay, was without a doubt the strongest battleship in almost every category at its tier. The best torp boats at Tier 5 are the Fusion and her sister ships, which are only available during 1 or 2 weeks of the year in a package for €20. The title of the best fire spammer at Tier 8 goes to the Q2 which can smoke itself up, making it easier to put the guns to good use. The only other smoke cruiser at Tier 8 is Edinburgh, which doesn't have access to HE ammo and can't set fires. All other fire-setting cruisers like Charles Martel or Mogami have to constantly watch out for and try to avoid incoming fire. The biggest weakness of the Soviet Tier 7 destroyer Minsk are the torps, because they only have a range of 4 kilometers. Her sister ship Leningrad, which is identical to her in every single way, only has 2 small differences to the Minsk. Her torps have 8 kilometers range, and she is a premium ship. Fighting a defender in an IS-3 puts you at a disadvantage. Fighting a Loyang in a Z-23 puts you at a disadvantage. Fighting an E-25 in a Challenger puts you at a disadvantage. Playing ranked World of Warships at Tier 8 will result in a loss if both teams only have 1 destroyer and it happens to be a Kajero on your team and a Kid or a Loyang on the enemy team. At Tier 7, it will result in a loss if your team's aircraft carrier happens to be a Ranger and the enemy aircraft carrier happens to be a Saipan. It won't be your fault, it will be the fault of the free-to-play player who doesn't stand a chance against the premium ship that he is forced to fight. Everybody will start hating him, everybody will start insulting him, all of this just because his real life doesn't allow him to spend money on the game. He can only play during a limited time of the day, which means that he can't grind a lot. He only has a single stock Kajero at Tier 8, but he had the courage to test out the ranked mode anyway. And now he is being told to kill himself by his teammates long before the match has even started. This toxicity is not good. Of course Wargaming wants us to pay money, but they release overpowered vehicles with a scary price tag in order to make us throw our wallets at them. This is bad. It makes the game frustrating for free-to-play players and gives them 3 options. Option 1. Don't care about it. You play the game because you want to derp around in a fast light tank at high speed. You don't care about being a good player, you just like driving a KV2. None of the pay to win aspects really matter to you. Option 2. Leave. Stop playing the game. The developer demands large sums of money for you to be competitive, and you dislike it. You can't afford to spend money on the game, but you want to be a successful player. You should play a different game. Option 3. Pay, grind the tech tree faster, enjoy a new experience with a unique premium vehicle, or become a competitive pro player with the help of pay-to-win vehicles and ammunition. Fulfill your dreams by selling your soul. Option number 1 will annoy your teammates who want to win the match no matter what. Option number 2 will damage the game if too many people leave. Option number 3 will make the company happy, and it will probably make you happy as well. It will make your friends who play together with you unhappy though, because they won't be able to fire that much premium ammunition at the heavily armored tanks, and they won't do that much damage. And the heavily armored tank that is being spammed by premium ammo will also be pissed, creating more toxicity. Dear Wargaming,
stop it. Get some help.